A very good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Seema Verma, welcome you all to the third day of Atal Online Faculty Development Program on recent trends in deep learning and large language models. Now, I welcome our speaker for the day, Dr. Madhulika Bhatia. Dr. Madhulika Bhatia, Software Development Officer at Digital Healthcare Wales, UK, holds a PhD from Emory University and has 18 years of teaching experience. She has published many research papers, authored 2 books, and filed 2 provisional patents. A member of societies like IET, ACM, and IEEE, she has reviewed for leading journals and served as an editor for Springer. Dr. Bhatia has guided numerous MTech and BTech projects and is mentoring PhD scholars. She has delivered expert talks, including at AICTE workshop with IIT Roorkee, and collaborated internationally with institutes like the University of Cape Town, Lancaster University. Currently, she is pursuing a postdoctoral fellowship at Federal University of Ceará, Brazil. Welcome, Dr. Mathulika.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an introduction. Okay, can we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay. Good afternoon, all listeners and organizers. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak on the topic applications of machine learning in healthcare. As I'm already employed in digital healthcare in Wales, so here the healthcare applications are connected through 4 or 5 applications which we support, and the hospital management system is very robust, and they have a centralized patient management system. They have a GP connected to each other. They have a digitized way of sending referrals and referral updates like MRI reports, CT scans, and various screening letters. They send to each other in a digitized way. So I'm here to present on applications of machine learning in healthcare. As I move forward, I will give some of the showcase about use case that we can have on healthcare, and then I will try to show you on Azure Machine Learning Studio that how can we use Azure Machine Learning Studio and we can have a healthcare data set. I have arranged some screenshot to show you from my workspace what I have created and how can we train machine learning model on Azure Machine Learning Studio. So starting with the applications and some basic terminologies, I will move forward towards my presentation. So machine learning in healthcare is like a very talkative term, a part of discussion among researchers and industry people who have a huge impact on the healthcare. The payers, the providers, and many pharmacy companies are still applicable to their like trying to apply the machine learning in their spaces, in their companies, on their domains, as well as in their work culture. So taking advantage of all machine learning features today by these companies, I will give a very quick overview about the topic for machine learning and how it is being utilized and get benefited by various companies in healthcare sector. So machine learning model is basically in very simple term, it is being created and feeding data into learning algorithm, and learning algorithm categories are of 2 types that I will show you in my further PPTs and further presentation. So it can be feeded into the learning algorithms. These algorithms have magical entities or magical components inside them, that these algorithms all help the data that we are feeding into them to detect a patient length of stay based on the diagnosis, like what diagnosis we are applying to the patient. So these machine learning algorithms, when we feed the data of the patient into them, they can predict and they can forecast how long the patient will be staying in the hospital or how long the treatment will be planned by the doctor. So with this use case, we can come to know that someone had to write the algorithm and to train it with true and very reliable data that has been collected during the treatment plan of and the diagnostic plan of patient. Over the time, the model can additional medicines or additional treatment plans are being planned by the expert doctor according to the disease detected. So it will increase the model effectiveness and efficiency when we train the model with new data as we move forward for the treatment. So this is how machine learning algorithm magic comes into the play when we train it with the existing data. When the patient entered into the hospital with a treatment idea that I want to treat myself with some disease detected by the doctor, and when these diseases are being detected and the medications being prescribed by the GP or the doctor, then this data is fed into the machine learning algorithm and trained. And then as per the days pass, the newer data being trained by the to the machine learning algorithm to plan the infrastructure for that patient, that how many days he will be staying and how much stock of medicine we need and how much resources are being allocated to that particular patient in the hospital. So this is how machine learning helping in healthcare. Machine learning on Azure is that sometimes I think that machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and it can be thought as like a computer system will perform series of tasks that normally a human intelligence do in a visual perception, that we think of that we have to do something like that. Speech recognition, decision making, various translation APIs and translation packages that are being translated one language to another. So like before going into more detail or the distinction between all these two, there are some resources that I can help you to get started your work on Azure ML Studio. So Azure machine learning services are those that enable you to help. It is software as a service. Like cloud is working on three models, three services it provide. The cloud infrastructure, like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So this means like when you use ready to use cloud, you don't have to acquire your infrastructure. You can have an instance of compute and execute your resources. Like you can have instance of RAM and execute your program without acquiring any infrastructure on your computer system. Same way we don't have to pay the license cost for operating system. We can borrow an instance of platform as a service and can use any of the operating system from cloud on our own machine. As well as we have a software as a service, that we don't have to pay the license for MS Office or any software. We can pay as you go basis. We can buy or borrow an instance of that software, and we can use it as a service. So Azure Machine Learning Studio and Azure Machine Learning Services comes under cloud services that are called as software as a service model. So this Azure machine learning services enable building and deployment of various machine learning and artificial intelligence inbuilt models using Python tools, libraries, even R. Next is Azure Data Science Virtual Machines. They are customized virtual machines images on Azure, loaded with basic data science tools used to build intelligent applications for advanced analytics. What this data science virtual machine work for us, that I have my computer and I have one software that support making my machine as a virtual machine. We call it as VMware. When VMware is installed on my computer, I can make any of the machine on my image of that machine. We call it as a virtual machine on my computer without snatching my computing resources of my computer. I can use that as a virtual machine, and I can customize that machine virtually on my infrastructure without consuming my own storage and my own execution and my own CPU resources. So this is how virtual machine can be set up using Azure Data Science Virtual Machine, and it is loaded with basic data science tools. Like it has a support of R, it have a support of excuse me for a second. It has a support for it has a support for sorry, it has a support for many build intelligent applications that you can integrate it with. Like you can have data visualization tool, you can generate graphs. I will show you from my workspace that how I have used it on some insurance data set, and you can apply various advanced analytics technique over it. Azure Machine Learning Studio, which comes with many algorithm that is out of box. It has Azure AI Gallery, which showcase many AI and machine learning algorithms, and you can create use case out of them. There are various examples of machine learning in healthcare, like current example of initiative using artificial intelligence, including Project Inner Eye. This project Inner Eye is a research-based AI-powered software tool that is for radiotherapy. This is an authored by Microsoft Research. This research tool is being embedded with AI techniques that can be used for radiotherapy, and the Microsoft is the owner of this research project. Second is like healthcare.ai has developed several healthcare related algorithms that provide various insight out of that. Microsoft is continuing to commit the resources that make healthcare more progressive with the use or with the utilization of various machine learning algorithms. And there are many several programs and that are publicly available free of cost, which is including these public available resources like including Microsoft Medical Health and Genomics and Microsoft Research. You can use them. They are freely publicly available for research, and you can have intelligent health through AI of the cloud. Then there are Microsoft and Adaptive Biotechnologies announcing the partnership using AI to have immune system. Before going to the facts, I will take you towards what are these research projects. We will have a quick glance over the internet.
Hello, my name's Raj, and I'm a radiation oncologist from the Cambridge Cancer Centre in
So
the
these
UK.
are this is the Cambridge Cancer Center at UK, and artificial intelligence helping to treat cancer like this, that it can diagnose the cancer. Half of those will need a radiotherapy. Then sometimes it take hours of each treatment for the patient to diagnose with the cancer when the radiotherapy is going on. And then how can that AI helping for them like this? See, this is that project snippets being taken, that they have taken the scans of that cancer portion in the patient image. And this is how that project will diagnose easily. See, this is the portion where the active disease is there. This is how they are setting the things in that project. These are the things that they can see about this. This is the overview, like the resizing. How can it can be like with the rays. Various views inside that. So this is how that project is being utilized for radiotherapy patients. This is the wonder that been done by Microsoft Inner Eye project. So this is an AI assistance planning for radiotherapy treatments. So next is healthcare.ai, which has several healthcare related algorithms that can work upon. So this is a health catalyst. It's not opening now. These are the solutions that are provided by this healthcare.ai. Data analysis, health management, embedded patient engagement, patient safety. This is how people are using machine learning algorithm in health sector. This is also one project by Microsoft Research, which is using health and genomics. You can have a look over this. Some intelligent health options through AI and cloud. This is how they are using at Children's Research Hospital for genomic sequencing for the pediatric cancers, like how the children can be detected more quickly and at the early stages. This is how this project being done using machine learning and AI. They are also using Azure Security for this AI network for healthcare. So this is how this is done at the early stages. So some of the facts that all these initiatives are driven by machine learning algorithms to develop and to help the researchers, data scientists, and many developers that are working on these day and night for helping the health seekers. So accuracy of this prediction and recognition depending upon the very two factors: what data we are taking into the machine learning algorithm and what features we have to train, what features we are targeting to train out of that health data. So we need to train the model accordingly, and these algorithms are used to learn from that data. So the inner important entity is data, what we are feeding inside the learning algorithm for training that data. So supervised and unsupervised learning, there are two kind of algorithms. Supervised learning algorithm make prediction based on the set of some examples like historical stock prices. This kind of algorithm always have supervised thing that is in the picture, like taking the history data like historical stock prices or history of the data which has some like previous rainfall records, previous temperature records, these kind of things, and it has something to be trained from the past. So it can be used to guess the future prices. So each example used for training is always been labeled with a value of interest. So in this case, the stock price is the value of interest. For example, if I am being suffering from cold so frequently, so supervised learning algorithm will take my historical data, how much like what medicine I have taken before, and what is the frequency of cold I've been suffering from, and how much the temperature been recorded for me from my body when I was being in the cold. So some label being turned on the data set when we are feeding it into the supervised algorithm. So we must have a value of interest from that data what we feed into the supervised. So value of interest is my temperature when I feed it into for my detection for what is the medication plan for my disease, that is frequency of cold again and again in the body. So this is the value of interest should be there in the data which we capture and we feed into the supervised machine learning algorithm. So supervised algorithm always look for the patterns in those values from the labels. Like I told you that frequency of cold, frequency of temperature, how like after 2 hours, after 4 hours, and what is the duration from last so many months, from so many week I am being diagnosed in the temperature, or I was having high fever, sore throat, or any runny nose. These kind of patterns are being looked over when we train the data on when we train the data over supervised machine learning algorithm. So machine learning in supervised mode is will make the predictions more precise because the model is being fed with the correct answer from the past. So we are labeling the correct answers from the past, which are the facts being collected from my disease occurrence. So it is about to expected the results. So this is a supervised learning. Unsupervised learning is always that have data points which have no labels. We are lost in the world. Instead, goal of unsupervised learning is to organize the data in some way so that its structure can be described. So we always create an unstructured kind of data which has no labels, has no source defined. We always make it more structured so that it can be fed properly into the machine learning algorithm. So we will have a grouping into the clusters. So we will make the clusters like these are the stocks which has these prices. These are the stock. This has been down from last so many years. So we will make a cluster to dig the patterns out so that it can be properly fed into the algorithm. So finding different ways of looking at the complex data that has been collected from various sources and various unstructured patterns. So it appears simpler and more organized when we put them in the cluster. So form of training is less specific, and people and the data scientists and the researchers and people like you and me will analyze the output, not even know the right answers themselves. So we always have a prediction and the outcomes coming from the unsupervised learning. We will analyze when we don't know the answer ourselves. So algorithm algorithm tuning is very important, and this kind of unsupervised learning always provide great benefits when algorithm is tuned properly on certain parameters. So algorithm tuning is the process of trial and error, like hit and trial is there. So I will tune my unsupervised machine learning algorithm in such a way that I will get good prediction and I will get more answers. So uh, I will keep that tuning value with me, that I have tuned this algorithm up to this threshold that I got the correct answer. So use many experts evaluate the results in a very critical manner when they use unsupervised learning. So there is always PII in our organization. We never send any email without stating in the subject that this email contains PII. This is a very important aspect we have. We have to deal with when we are working in the healthcare sector and healthcare products and services. Like we provide healthcare application and services to the citizens of UK, who the people who are health. Like our stakeholders, the citizens who want health services from the Welsh government and the UK government. So we are having government funded projects that we are supporting these health applications where the GP, nurses, administration, practice managers, and a lot of hospitals that are centralized connected over our three applications, where the clinicians perform test requests, they will give test results, they will send update about the urgent suspected cancers and chronic diseases. So we always in the health sector we have PII, personally identifiable information. So these are the health records and the product services that take care of PII, the personal identifiable information about the patients. So special consideration are always being made in how the organization will deal with this PII when they are opting the machine learning solution. So this is a very important challenge, and how they will treat the PII data in the machine learning solutions. So ML, I have given one example that in United States, most of the people with multiple sclerosis live. Like it's a chronic disease, a very rare disease. I think it is from the spinal cord. This can lead to the questions like, why is this? So with machine learning, one can potentially find insights not observed from other business intelligence approaches. So I want to state in this slide that machine learning is helpful in detecting a rare disease in the US, like multiple sclerosis. It's a rare disease which happens in the spinal cord, I think. One can machine learning is helpful in detecting this in very early stages in United States, which is very common in that country, and which is not observed with many high business intelligence approaches. So this is how machine learning is helping in healthcare. There are some usage example I have added, like diagnostic radiology. Consider a job of this is a use case I am presenting here. Consider a job of any radiologist who diagnose some of the scans which he take from the radio devices, and physicians spend a lot of time analyzing those scans and images to identify outliers and problems in the patient, and much more work they used to do for identification of some anomalies in the patient scans. So these are often critical in making the diagnosis plan for the patient, that what treatment plan we are presenting to the patient. So and their decision are based on what they find, like they find a tumor, they find a disease, they find a any abnormal thing in the scan. So AI can be used to assist such diagnostic radiologists who spend hours and months to diagnose those, so that the early detection can be presented to the patient and patient can be cured early in the early stages. For this example is Project INRI that I have already shown you, a beautiful project represented to the radiologist to diagnose the cancer in early stages. This project INRI machine learning technique for automatic identification of tumors, as well as the healthy autonomy also in the radiologic images, like so that it can be compared with the unhealthy one. So not unhealthy anomalies, but healthy anomalies are also being used to detect with this project. So it enabled the extraction of radio measurements using the numbers, numerical, quantitative data from the tumor portion, and fast radiotherapy planning can be planned. Precise surgery planning and the navigation over the tumor portion can be done with this. This is a multi-dimensional radiological images that can be shown on the measuring devices that I have already shown few of the screenshot from the video. This software assists the radiologist by automatically tracing the outlier and the outline of the tumor in the brain. So radiology produces a large number of scan of that area from top to bottom, bottom to top, and from the left and the right. Very orthogonal views can be represented with this project. So radiology typically goes through each scan and traces. So outline of the tumor. So this is done like a three-dimensional composite of the tumor can be produced. These tasks take hours, but using machine learning algorithm, this is done in the minutes. Other usage example is of machine learning is to predict the outcomes. So other very practical information and the advantage of machine learning that it can be forecasted, it can be utilized to forecast something using machine learning and AI. So predicting the patient likely duration of stay in the hospital is a form of predictive analytics that can be performed using machine learning algorithm and AI. So this prediction analysis for the nurses as well to help them that who will be on the duty, who will be caring for the patient. So it will help the hospital management system to better care of patients and their staff. This is machine learning in healthcare, like it can helpful in starting from the healthcare records, then the medical imaging and diagnosis, drug discovery, like what drug can be introduced and the stock for the pharmacies, and clinical research like genomics and many DNA things can be taken into the research part, and personalized healthcare as well can be presented to the old age people and disabled people so that they can have a personal healthcare at home when they are alone. So this is how machine learning helping all these use cases in healthcare. Some of the applications like disease diagnostic in early detection, identifying the diseases by using patterns. For example, in radiology, machine learning models can analyze medical images, X-rays, CT scans, MRI to detect tumors, fractures, and many outliers. Cancer detection, like algorithm can identify early stages like breast cancer, skin, lung cancer. Cardiology can detect the heart conditions from the ECG signals. That ECG signals can be fed into the supervised learning from the past reports of the ECG, and it can detect the heart conditions currently, how much healthy the heart is, what is the condition currently now. So increasing diagnostic accuracy and reducing the human error at some extent, the machine learning is helping in health sector. Other is personalized medicine, like a customized treatment plan based on the patient specific data. Like if I am being opting what we say a healthcare plan like body checkup. If I go for a body checkup twice in a year, and my all reports are being fed into the algorithm, and a specialized tailored treatment plan can be presented to me if I am short of vitamin D, iron, hemoglobin, or anything that can be detected early, and customized patient specific data being fed. So patient specific treatment plan or medicine can be presented to me as a personalized care. So recommending medication dosage using genetic profiles also, this is also been in trend nowadays. So if genetically I have some diabetes, or genetically if I have some problem, it can also be done and move towards pharmacogenomics, which we called it, and recommending the medication dosage as early before the disease happen in the child genetically. So predicting how a patient will respond to specific treatment, this is also can be done with machine learning, like giving my unstructured pattern of the data in unsupervised learning, so it can respond to the specific treatment to predict how the patient will react, or how the patient body will react on a specific X treatment. So it helping a various spectrum, and in the 360-degree view in the healthcare, that everybody in the health sector is snatching the beauty of machine learning algorithm for the treatment outcomes and for targeting the therapies more and more much effective way. Medical image and analysis, like automating the interpretation of medical images. For example, machine learning tools in detecting the retinal diseases from the fundus images of eye. 3D imaging reconstruction for improving the surgical planning for the surgeons. Speeding up the diagnosing and reducing the workload of radiologists as well for the people who are involving their month and hours to detect anomalies in the scans. Now, predictive analytics, how prediction will help in the health sector, like predicting the patient outcome or risk. For example, we have fed some certain pattern of the data, a certain history being the patient on the medicine from last 1 year, and this predictive analytics part of machine learning can help predict the patient outcomes and various risks associated with that treatment plan if it can be taken in the future as well. So predicting the hospital readmission rates, disease progression, how much the disease will progress if we provide two stages, if we provide two sittings of chemotherapy or three sittings of chemotherapy or only one sitting of chemotherapy when the detection of there for the cancer. So how the disease progression will be there. So this can be predictive using predictive analytics. So diabetes, Alzheimer, these all autism can be helpful with the predictive analytics. So early detection of spaces in the ICU patients enable the proactive healthcare interventions we can use with predictive analytics. Drug discovery and development, yeah, accelerating the drug discovery by analyzing the vast data set, identifying the potential drug candidates using machine learning models, like we can feed like I can give you one example, like if there are diabetic more patient in that area, so drug candidates can be fed using machine learning algorithms and machine learning models, and they can have identifying the potential drug candidates, how much consumption of that medicine will be there in the future. This is how drug discovery and development performed using machine learning, simulating the drug interactions with the proteins or other biological targets. For example, that drug can be combined with other medicine or other treatment plan from the other department. This is also can be done with simulation, reduces the time and cost in developing the new treatment plans, because we will be knowing in advance that how much medicine should be there and required by the patients in the future for diabetes or cancer. So this will reduce the time and cost in developing the new treatment plans as well as investment over new drugs. Patient monitoring and wearable devices. Patient monitoring and wearable devices means the my smart watches, continuous health monitoring system through IoT sensors and enabled devices like smartwatch, fitness tracker for monitoring vitals, heart rate, oxygen levels. These all data being saved and trained into the machine learning algorithm, so that the early detection of any risk can be predicted. Detecting various sleep apnea using wearable sensors, enabling real-time monitoring and alerts for the critical condition, like if an old age person or any disabled person have wearable devices in the patient monitoring system, and the alert and the alarm can be given to the care worker who has been assigned to that patient. So it can have a real-time monitoring and alerts for the critical conditions that the person is not being well. Next is natural language processing in healthcare, like extra insight from the unstructured text data, like a descriptive reports that has been generated as an explanation from the numerical values that has been generated from the scans. So that can be generated from the scan. That descriptive text written by the or printed by the clinician can be used to extract extra decision making from the unstructured data. Analyze, like I have already given the example, that the clinical notes from the clinician for the patient stages and patient conditions in the form of electronic health records. So we can take all them unstructured text data and can be put in the machine learning algorithms. We can have natural language processing there. Then conversational AI for symptom tracking and virtual health assistants can be benefited. So what is the benefit of this? Like it will save the time of healthcare providers and healthcare seekers as well, and ensure the better documentation with this. Robotic surgery. Some of the hospitals in India as well who are performing robotic surgeries nowadays using ML powered tools robotic enabled configuration are there for the accurate surgery portion that I have seen in India, one advertisement that the knee surgery nowadays, been in my last visit in India, I have seen one advertisement of one hospital. That was Asian Hospital. I think they were performing knee surgery using robotics. They were have good boards and advertisement that they are performing the surgeries nowadays with robotics. So the accuracy and the precision level of these robotic surgeries are much accurate than a surgeon. So this is one surgical system, Da Vinci, that use AI to assist surgeons, predicting optimal surgical pathways during the procedures, that when they are in the process or in the way of halfway in the way of surgeries, the robotics will direct them and predict them the optimal path to take to perform the surgery in a more precise and accurate values. So this benefits the surgical precision areas and reduces the recovery time as well. If the surgeon will be helped by these precision and the accurate methods enabled by artificial intelligence, robotics, and machine learning, it will obviously reduce the recover time of the patient. So patient will be recovered very soon and quickly. Epidemiology and public health, tracking the prediction disease outbreaks, like if we have more symptoms in the cold cough in the hospital, so again the COVID-19 spread prediction or the next variant of the COVID can be predicted in the form of disease outbreaks very early, and the flu vaccines and medications and the drugs and the treatment plans can be predicted by the government so quickly and early stages. So identifying at the risk populations for targeting interventions, that what kind of population being targeted by the new COVID variant, this can be detected so early with this. So it will help the government to effective plan for the public health strategies and invest more and more fund into it, so that the outbreak can be paused or it can be minimized to some extent. Healthcare operation managements, like optimizing the hospital and the resource management, predicting the inflow and outflow of the patient, that how many are discharged, how many are admitted, to allocate the resources very efficiently. So chatbots for handling the administrative queries nowadays, every hospital management system, when we book the appointment, they have chatbots enabled with them on their websites. Many have mobile applications to book the appointments and the billing. It will improve, obviously it will improving the efficiency, reducing the cost and time as well, and can take the emergency cases very quickly. Mental health analysis, detecting the mental health conditions using the behavior data of the patient, that how the patient is behaving, what uttering speech, many scans like social media posts, blogs that can be captured about one person, and the signs of depression, anxiety, loneliness, and many things can be detected as a health analytic parts using machine learning. Real time mood tracking also there with the wearable devices, that if I am sad, I'm thinking something, I'm in my thoughts so long, like when I'm doing something instantly, or I'm slow in something. So these all can be done with the mental health analysis, and this all data can be put into the and fed into the machine learning algorithm to save the people with worst mental conditions. So it will help and benefit timely interventions and the mental support and right counseling at the right stages, so that the people can be saved from the worst and poor mental conditions. Clinical trials, that I have already shown you, that the genomics design and the monitoring of clinical trials on EHR, electronic health records, identifying the suitable candidates for them, predicting the trial outcomes, and identifying the potential risk out of that. So increasing the success rate of clinical studies nowadays for the optimizing the clinical trial. So these are some of the summary benefits that I have summarized. In accuracy, reduce the errors in the treatment plans, diagnosis speed up, efficiency in decision-making processes by surgeon, by care workers, by health professionals, and personalizing, providing the customized treatment plan for monitoring individual patients, reduction in the cost. Obviously, healthcare expenses are being optimized to some extent by acquiring the resources and planning the resources effectively. So, machine learning continues to expand its presence, its role and advantage in the healthcare, transforming into more predictive, preventive, and personalized healthcare nowadays. So these are applications of AI. I have pictured them over one image. So diagnosis and treatment comes under clinical decision support, analyzer, treatment efficiency versus effectiveness of the plan, matching injuries like patient with the similar profiles, They can be combined with up treatment with similar cost benefit ratios, discovery under hypothesis generation, proof of concept, trials in the clinic, precision of the medicine like genomics, mobile application, well-being under the chronic disease management, real-time alert management systems, virtual assistants are in the picture, prediction in the modeling risk, stratification, readmission rate, that if I am being discharged on some particular stage, what is the readmission rate of my stage, my health condition, so that I can be readmitted again, hospital acquired infections, emergence of complications, then workflow, optimizing the flow of the patient, detecting the process effectiveness, how much the process is ineffective and how much process improvement is required to make the process again optimized for the patient. Computer vision can be embedded by radiological image analysis under ECG, ECG, EEG, CT scan, MRI, radiotherapies, and many of there where there are many use cases with machine learning in the healthcare. This is a healthcare market which has been rich, very rich. Yes, so market statistic. I'm working in health sector. I know how much money they are making nowadays, and government is ready to fund billions of rupees, crores of rupees in India as well on the improving the market of healthcare sector, so that more and more patient centric benefits and the ways can be provided to the health seeker. So market statistics says this in 2023, 2024 to 30, it will be increased, and by 2032, the market will be rising to this. So this is the market segmentation. Software segment like us and drug discovery segment are being earning this much of money from the health sector. So machine learning is hope over hype in the patient care. So I must say it is a hope over the hype, and machine learning is these one. I have again put them into a nice flowchart: epidemic forecasting, improving the access to healthcare, medical image analysis, mental health support, precise surgery, wearable and remote monitoring. Then these are fraud detection, supply chain, precision medical and oncology, drug repurposing, predictive maintenance, earlier diagnosis, streamline operations, cost saving, patient experience, drug discovery and development. This is how machine learning is evolved. Now, as we have a software development life cycle, we have a machine learning operations as well. So this is one of the things that is being used, how the software cycle of a project goes on when we use machine learning over it. So it is coming under data acquisition, which is acquired by a data engineer. So data engineer will have data acquisition with the help of various data engineering methods. Then they have EDA, exploratory data analysis, to explore the data and pull out the facts from that data. Then data preparation and processing will be done. Then they are feature engineering, that what kind of features I will be pulling for feature modeling, and I can put those features into the machine learning model for training. So this is the model development, model training and experimentation by a data scientist. And then this is model analysis and evaluating the model on particular feature that I have fed into the model development. Then data preparation and processing will go on. After that, when the model analysis and evaluation is done on certain parameters, there will be a runtime environment which will be under risk assessment. A final model and performance analysis of the machine learning model is assessed using various metrics that I will tell you in the latest stages. So these things, risk assessment and proper tuning of machine learning algorithm on certain performance analysis, being done by ML architect and data engineers. Then there are auto scaling, like we call it upscaling and downscaling of the machine learning model on certain threshold. Then there are Dockers and the Kubernetes over cloud. Then there are these pipelines that are used for execution of that machine learning model over certain CPU cycles and CPU resources. This is done by data engineer and DevOps. And then I'm not the part of DevOps, logging, scheduling, and then performance degradation checking, online monitoring. Then it is done by again DevOps and data scientists. So these are the people who are involved in ML operations and operations lifecycle of a machine learning software development model. Now Azure machine learning is a cloud service for like how it can be done. These all DevOps and cloud over cloud, how it can be performed using a Azure Machine Learning Studio. It's a cloud platform, a cloud service for accelerating and managing the various machine learning project lifecycle that I have shown you, and I will show you one more. So machine learning professionals, data scientists, engineers are working together for day-to-day workflow to train and deploy these models and manage all machine learning operations. So we can create a machine learning model to build and to build from an open source platform like PyTorch, TensorFlow, SCI, Kitlearn. These all are available over Azure Machine Learning Studio to train your machine learning development lifecycle. So MLOps tool help you to monitor, retrain, and redeploy these models. Machine Learning Studio offers multiple authoring experience to different kind of projects. You can have any, if you have a machine learning experience in the past, without having, you have to install nothing to install to your system. You can use a cloud service. Like you can have notebooks, you can write your run your own code managed by Jupyter Notebook servers and directly integrated into the Machine Learning Studio. So we can have any code from your desktop, and you can put that over a cloud notebook. You can visualize and run metrics. You can analyze, optimize any of your experiment with the help of visualization integrated in the Machine Learning Studio. So this is one metrics that I have taken a screenshot from the workspace, a base model training, and these are the metrics you can analyze the performance of your model. So this is how can be done. The best score is 93%. Restore depoach is there, stop depoach is there, waiting count is there. So this is how you can evaluate your machine learning model over some metrics. This is how training is done. This is one of the car classification data I have taken. So Azure ML have learning designers. It is use the designer to train and deploy the models without writing any line of single code. You just have to drag and drop the dataset and components to create machine learning pipelines. Then you can have a user interface over automating machine learning, how to create automated ML experiments within very easy to use user interface, very user friendly. And you can use data labeling, like you can use machine learning data labeling to efficiently coordinate your image labeling with the text labeling project. So it will give you automatic image labeling from your data row and column, which you will drag and drop over the canvas. So this is a project lifecycle, a normal project lifecycle, like defining the task, exploring the data, training and validating the model, deploy the model, and then you will have MLOps of monitoring and managing the lifecycle. So these are the supports we have over Studio, like open and interoperable. Data scientists use the models in their machine learning style, and they have created in common Python framework like PyTorch, TensorFlow, XGBoot, LightGBM. All these models are ready-made in the Machine Learning Studio. Other language framework like R.NET. I haven't used .NET, but I have used and run the R script over Azure ML Studio. You just have to copy paste the R script from your R Studio, and it will run the script for you, like uh, in a in a click of button. It's so easy. So automated featureization and algorithm selection. When you are ready with your data set and you have dragged it over Canvas, I will show you the screenshot in my later slides, how I have done it. So you, like how the feature selection will be done. Like this is a tedious task to for a data scientist or an ML engineer to know about that what columns will make more appropriate features to be trained into the machine learning model. But Machine Learning Studio will do it for you automatically. So it is a very repetitive and time consuming process for a classical ML data scientist. I told you already that it require a prior experience for feature selection, but it is a like you how you can select data featureization and algorithm for training. But automated machine learning feature in the studio, like AutoML, speeds this process. You can do it very quickly using Machine Learning Studio user interface, and it will automatically detect features from the data set, and it will select the algorithm for you as well. So this is MLOps, DevOps for machine learning. So I call it like we have a DevOps, normal development operation cycle, but how you can have DevOps for machine learning, we call it as MLOps. So data, training the model, deploying the model, monitoring it, and then analyzing the performance and retrain the model on some certain weight and uh, or any metrics, and update the data, and then again train the model. So it will improve the effectiveness and efficiency of that model. The performance of the model will be more good. So how to start Azure Machine Learning Studio and Azure account you want for that, you must have an active subscription. You can also create an account for free, and the student will get, I think, 7-8 months free subscription. So Azure Machine Learning, you need a active account for that, to use the workspace and compute instance. So workspace is nothing. It is a central place given to you to view and manage all artifacts, components, and the resources that you create for your machine learning model. And compute instance is that you have to pre-configure it before you switch your machine learning clips on the canvas. You have to set how much computing instance you want to run to your machine learning, because all the things we are doing on the cloud. So you have to pre-configure that how much CPU instance, how much virtual RAM, how much infrastructure you need virtually over cloud to set up your machine learning model and train and deploy over some web platform. So you have to pre-configure your computing instances before you train your machine learning model for any task over Azure Machine Learning Studio. So this is a quick setup video how you can do it. So I will give you a quick overview with this. I hope it will work. So I want to play it for you. And
Sign in. Sign into Azure Machine Learning Studio and select Create Workspace.
ma'am, I'm sharing the video with sound. Can you please confirm?
Enter a unique.
Ma'am, is it audible?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yeah,
Nidhi.
whatever I have described you in my words, that how you can do it, and I have shown the matrix screenshot and how you can create your new workspace. It will quickly show you a description that how you can set the computing instance over cloud before you start working for your machine learning model and deploy it over cloud. So this is a quick video.
Name for your workspace. If you have a hub, select it. If you don't have a hub, fill in the advanced settings instead. The workspace provisioning is in progress. The workspace is created successfully. Open the newly created workspace. Now, to create the compute instance, select New Compute Instance. Supply a name for the compute. Keep the default values for the rest of the page. Select Review and Create. Select Create. The compute instance creation is in progress. Create a new notebook. Select Notebooks. Select Plus, then create new file.
This is a Python notebook we are creating.
Provide the file name. Select Create. The notebook is successfully created. Now you can write your scripts. Once the compute is running, you can run the cells in the notebook.
See how much RAM, CPU percentage being used by your script. Over here, CPU 0% RAM. This is all being done over cloud without fetching any resource from your computer.
This video was created with the help of artificial intelligence. Learn more about our principles for AI-generated content.
Coming back to the PPT. So this was a quick setup how you can set up your Azure account. These are the things I have shown to you in the video, like notebook, automated ML designer, These are the data, jobs, components, pipelines, environments, models, managing compute, link services, and data labeling. This is the ML workspace. These are the samples notebook that you can have for SDK. I have shown you one Python notebook where you can write your script. This is how you can create new files. Then you can build, train, and deploy machine learning models with Azure free account. You will get a 12-month free service. Pay as you go after you're over with the free services. This is how trying Azure machine learning for free. You can have to make an account for this. Then MLOps will help you to set the practices that aim to deploy and maintain machine learning models in the production reliably and efficiently. So how this can be done? The collaboration of machine learning team, like sharing the notebook. You can share your Python notebook, R scripts, or any model in a collaborating environment. You can share it with your team members, with your friends. You can have computing resources, data environment, tracking the auditability, who made the changes and when. It is in a very secure way. This is my account. I have created my recent experiment over Azure Machine Learning Studio. So this is, it will give you one message when you will enter. These are the experiments. My sample one download. I have created it in 2024. And then these are the experiments that you can train, test existing samples. This is how you can build an experiment in 5 short steps. A sample experiment. These are the web services. When you deploy your model over any web service, it will be listed here. So this is how cross-validation for regression on an auto import dataset. I have drag and drop one sample dataset of any XYZ dataset and how it will be shown like this. It will clean the missing data. It will have these algorithms and cross-validate the model and give you the results. This is how you can apply cross-validation and regression only. And after that, you have to click run and it will run this machine learning model regression over it. This is how text processing, these all are the sample data set, breast cancer feature, named entity recognition, CRM data set, these all data. Is it going fine?
Yes, fine.
Okay, thank you. So these are the sample data sets that are being available in Azure ML. You can work over it. And this is, you can choose your own new data set from your own computer. If you want to train your new your data set from the computer, you have a option of uploading a new data set and you can enter the name of new data set. Like I have created my first project testing, and I am taking taking these all assets, experiments, modules, everything on my first project. And then I have to name my project. I have given description as testing. And then this is the training, testing, and evaluation of regression. So you will drag and drop all these things here and it will create this kind of model for you. So this is a draft and it is saved unless and until I will not run. So these are the things, feature selection. I have, this is my saved data set, and then I have put the data format conversion here. Then I have performed input and output. I have dragged here. Then I have used feature selection, then scoring model, then training the model, then I have applied decision forest regression, then I have applied Poisson regression here. Only I have to drag the clipper here over my dataset canvas. So it will do everything for you and you can evaluate the model like this. So trained models, no model found because I haven't trained anything. Now I will be training. This is a blank experiment you will get. You have to drag your items here in this kind of canvas. This is a blank experiment. This is the first user interface you can create, like reader here, and this will the URL you can have here, my data set. This data pre-processing is an important data science activity, building a robust and powerful machine learning model. So it will help to improve your data quality for modeling and result in the better model performance. So this is 600 these observations and 6 variables I have taken from my data set, which will treat the outliers, which will create the bins for the numerical values and normalize the data automatically in Azure ML Studio. This is how I have taken the data set. This is the data preparation, which I have already told you. This. You can visualize your CSV file by clicking right click here and visualize. It will show you you can drag your save data set here, and when you will right click, it will show you the visualize option, and you can see like this, your data set will be visualized like this. So on columns, column wise you can have this, and you can have statistic automatically calculated for you. You can create any of the visualization and choose from here what kind of visualization you want. Sometimes negative values need clipping, so which is used to identify and optionally replace the data value. Sometimes in your data set you have a negative value, so that are above or some below specified threshold. So you can clip the values. There is a solution to correct the incorrect records like negative values. So you can have a clipper of clip values. You will drag a clip value here, and it will ask you of the threshold, that how much you want to discard that particular threshold from your data set. This is the clipping example I have given to you. Like 20 is the constant value, so it will clip the value, keep the lower value at 20, and minimum value of age will be 20. Once the setup is done, you have to click the 10. So you have to select the that column particular variable age from the property pane, and you have to identify where you want to clip that value. So you can set the clipping values at the right side, and you can set the constant value for lower value and the threshold. This is how you can visualize your age column like this. So negative values will be replaced and the new age column will be shown to you after applying clipping. Treating outliers, misleading the training process. So it is very much required that you can treat the anomalies and detect the outliers into it, because if the outliers are not being detected, it will lead to the inaccurate models. So identifying the outliers visually, you can have it through histogram and numerically through the summary statistic values. This is how you can have like loan amount. To start the outlier treatment, you can drag the clip value module in the workspace. It will treat the outliers automatically like this. You can select the column where you want to apply and you can visualize. For example, setting the threshold at click peak and sub peak option, threshold and percentile option, these. And then you can set the percentile value of lower threshold 10 and upper value 90. This means this will mean the value between 10 and 19, and above the threshold will replace the 10th and 19th percentile values respectively. And you can have visualization when you will apply these thresholds. So this is how it will come with the standard deviation, and it will be shown automatically to you. Normalizing the data when age and income are different until like dollar and years. So when the feature use different scales, the feature with large scale will have influence on the model. So value of numeric column used to be on the common scale. So normalization is also like we have to normalize the data over scale, a particular scale. So it will required on some algorithm to model the data correctly. So this is how normalizing is done. You just have to clip the normalized data pane here on your experiment. This will normalize your data automatically like this. It will ask you to select the columns, or you can normalize the data. Then z-score apply on the selected columns. You can have how many standard deviation or data point is above or below the mean. You can normalize the variable by taking a mean of 0 or standard deviation. The z-score is also been calculated automatically by the transformation method available in drop down. So you can have a transformation method, z-score, minimum, maximum, logistical minimum, and many other options are there. So you can apply z-score and then visualize. It will help you to calculate the z-score and visualize as well. Binning is also done on the numerical data for machine learning. We need binning like for age. We want to convert the numerical feature to the categorical like age. So like I have recorded the age values, and I want to categorize the people from 30 to 50 in one group and 1 to 30 in one group. So I want a numerical value to be categorized in the category like age. So I need binning for that. So I can also have this option available. I will group the data into binning, just dragging this clip on the Azure Machine Learning Studio. So you can have a column selector like this. You can set the binning parameters. You can append. You can set bin to 10, number of bins you want. You can convert the categorical into the new variable like categorical feature. You can give a new name to it when you will append the choices. This is like grouping the data into bins. Launch the column selector and give a new name to it. This is how the binning is performed. The age is quantized into the categorical features from the numerical one. This is how you can have a frequency distribution table on the age quantified. We have used histogram for that. Now how you will create the data. So getting the data, preparing the data, and defining features are fine. But how you will train the model and choose and apply an algorithm, and then you can score and test the model, and then you can predict the predict anything. So dragging the set column data set from the module on the canvas, and then cleaning the missing data, having the binning, preparing the data for the modeling. You can select the columns. So double click the module and select the features for prediction. How you will do it? You can do like this. You can begin with no column in the filter, and then you can have a module to not pass through any columns feature except one that has to be specified. So we have to click no column, and we have to keep the all column active so that it can include all the column names from your data set to select the best possible feature from the data set. So we are near to the learning algorithm. Now we have filtered data set containing those features we want to pass to the learning algorithm. Now, feature selection method in the Machine Learning Studio will help you filter-based feature selection. Filter-based feature selection, you can, the choice depend upon which feature selection method you want on your input data. So these are the feature selection methods are available. You can choose. These are Pearson correlation, and it will also help you to support the input feature. If your data is all data type, or if you have a numerical and logical column values, then you can go for Kendall correlation. If you have numerical and logical columns, you can go for Spearman's correlation. If you have a numerical and logical column, you can go for Fisher score. So these are the supported labels and feature selection methods available for your choice, depending upon what category of data you are supporting the feature inputs. These are the feature description. What feature selection method meant for what. So once you are decide according to the data type from your columns, you can have a choice of feature selection method, and you have to click the run on the running the experiment, and the some of the results will come on the features, and you can visualize by right clicking the visualize. And conditions on the count based methods are high score method. This is the result of one of them, like Pearson score, count score, Kendall score, mutual information. So I have applied these four selection method on my data set. So this is the output you can see on your on data set as well. Then we have to specify a response class. Like predictive modeling, we need a response class for that. Like we must now directly tell Azure ML that which attribute we want in our algorithm to train the predicting class by casting attribute as a label. That now I want this category to be taken into consideration for predicting my model. So this is done by dragging the edit metadata option in the module using the column selector X and changing the field parameter to the label. So dataset can only have one label at a time for this work. So our model, if you are ready with that one label, that is a response class to predict things from your data set, then we are ready for machine learning. So this is how edit metadata will help you to have a response class and prediction. So I have arranged editing metadata tab like this. You can have a summarized data option here. This is how you can set the column of edit metadata. Now the partitioning the data, like it is extremely important to randomly partition your data set prior going and inserting into the training algorithm to test the validity and performance of your model. So predictive modeling is worthless if you are not accurately predicting the known values. So with this data represent the model that has a training feature, so it will allow you to score the performance of your model later when you will start evaluating your model and to predict the future of unknown values. So it is very important to partition the data into values to set the good performance of your model. So when you will drag the split data module, it will by default partition your data into 70-30, which is the industry standard. You can also rearrange in 40-60 as well, but do not split it more like 10-80. It will automatically show you the poor performance. So you have to set the industry practice, that is a 70-30 split to partition your data set. So fraction of rows in the first output data set will show you a 0.7, that is a 70% of the data will be randomly shuffled into the left output mode, and 0.3, like 30%, will be shuffled into the output node. So this is how 70-30 is set. Splitting the rows 0.7, like splitting data clipper will help you to split your edit metadata into 70-30 industry standard, which is the ratio. So how to select the algorithm? Now, what kind of machine learning algorithm you want to select? Classification, regression, clustering. So when the response class, that particular one label you have choose for your prediction, it has a categorical value 0 or 1. for survive or disease, like the person is alive or not alive, it is 0 or 1. The patient is diagnosed is done correctly or not correctly, 0 or 1. So we can tell that this is a classification problem. So we have to put our response class into one particular category. So specifically, we can tell that it is a two-class algorithm. It is a binary classification problem. So it will have two possible results, either alive or not alive. So luckily, Azure machine learning will help you two-class classification algorithm without going anything into the specific implementation. So it will help the data set to lend automatically to the decision forest classification algorithm, and the prediction class will be both numerical and the categorical. So it will not eat your brain to know what response class I am having, so that I can have a choice of two class decision forest classification algorithm for my data set to be opted as a ML algorithm. The machine learning studio will automatically solve your problem. So you have to pick any of the algorithm and it will work efficiently. So these are the choice of many classification algorithm that you can choose from when your response class is 0 or 1 categorical. So these are the choices you can have and you can visualize your result. Now training the model. Now you have connected to train your data into 70-30. So right input training module has 70% of the data. You have to drag the score model clipper on your experiment, and 30% will be having the right model, right percentage, which is a score model. So performance of the model will be dragged, and evaluate model clipper will help you to evaluate the model and take out the score for your model automatically. This is the two class boosted decision algorithm I have used. Split the data. After that, you can drag the training model, then scoring model and evaluating the model. It will score the model on 70-30 ratio, and it will evaluate the model on certain performance metrics. What are these? If you visualize your evaluating model, if you will evaluate your when you put the evaluating model clipper on your experiment, then you can visualize by running your model to see the amount of metrics it have, like good or bad performance on different priorities. As a result, each problem will also optimize the different metrics. So there is a receiver operating characteristic and as well as accurate AUC and ROC curve, because this is a low risk situation where the outcomes can be false negative, positive. So it will have no different weights. So this is ROC and AUC, accuracy of the curves, receiver operating characteristics, which is slightly because of the randomized split. I only judge the performance when this green curve is more near to here. I found my model in all the testing, all the cases, all the research I have done till now. I have successful in assuming that when my ROC curve is more near to 1, my model is performing good. So this ROC yield 83% fair performing model. So fine tuning the parameters, we can further increase the performance of the model, and this curve will be more pulled near to the 1. So area under the curve is very important to analyze, is the measure of ability of the classifier to distinguish between the classes. So this is how the ROC curve will be evaluating your model automatically in the Azure ML Studio. You can see the evaluating model will evaluate your model like this, and these are the performance metrics, how your model classification model has performed over the data set. So ROC and area under the curve will give you the overall performance. This is how you can have a optimization in the metrics. Precision will always give you relevance, how much relevant your data was with the machine learning algorithm. Recall will give you the thoroughness of the model, and accuracy will always give you the correctness of the model, that how much correct my model was. So if it is the values are coming 0.9 to 1, means suspiciously good your model has performed. 0.8 to 0.9 will give you a fair model. 0.7 to 0.8, it will give you a decent model. And if the score is 0.5 to 0.6, it is a worthless model. You don't have to deploy it anywhere. It will not worth any purpose. If you are giving that model to anyone to predict something, it is a worthless model. This is a complete picture of from where we started. Dragging my data set, splitting the data using a classification to two class boosted decision and two class decision forest. I have trained the model both. I have scored the model for both of them, and then I have evaluated both the models and compared the performance. So you can also do that in that. And you can have a support of R programming language as well in this if you have a time series models which has a change in the time series every month, every minute, the data is changing, the time index is changing. So you can perform microeconomics variables over it. If it has, then R programming support is also there. You can have analytics for the time series data. This is how you can get the data from GitHub. I have taken one dairy data set from California. So this is I have used to execute my R script over Azure Machine Learning Studio. I can show you the screenshot. This is how you can execute R script module. You just have to drag your execute R script here, and this is you can copy paste your existing R script from your R Studio, and you can execute the script like that. And again, you can load the new data set from the local file, CSV files from the dataset tab. This is how you can execute your dataset. I have taken this dataset from GitHub, from my computer, uploaded it, CSV file, and executing R script. And the right side, it will give you the option. And this is how you can visualize your dataset that is executed using R script. The same way we did it for machine learning models. So this is the script bundle. Also, you can have a source file .r. So I have taken .r file directly from the zip. If you have a zip model, zip file from your computer that has a R bundle of scripts with packages, you can upload them directly like this. It will read very quickly. This is one sample plot.r I have taken. So I have taken this map input port, this data. This is the script actually I have written in my R Studio, and I have bundled with the packages and all the things which is plotting a simple plot out of that data set. So I have taken this bundle and I have called it in the Azure ML Studio using R script bundle. So you have to follow these steps only for this. This is how I have executed a simple plot.zip file in Azure ML Studio and executed the R script for this. It will include all my packages that I have executed in my R Studio. This is the script. You can view the output log as well after clicking the run button. This is the R script dataset. This is how I visualize my result from the dataset. So this is fine. So this is how Azure Machine Learning can be helpful in modeling various health cases, patient cases, early detection, diagnosis. I have shown you how machine learning can be used in healthcare using Azure ML Studio, which is a total software as a service and cloud infrastructure. So these are my concluding remarks over the topic. I hope it is helpful for you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Madhulika. That was really a wonderful session and with hands-on also. Thank you for joining and sparing your time.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me. Thank you so much. And thank you to the listeners, organizers, Dr. K.K. Singh sir, and the audience who has listened to me for so long. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, bye. Dear participants, we are just starting our session in another